Hello, in case you are watching. I don't really think you are, but in case you are. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. Today we're going to be discussing about a very interesting topic. Well, interesting to those who follow this game series called Kingdom Hearts 3. Are we still online? Oh, 45 seconds in, I think we are. Let me try to open the streaming thingy. Yes, indeed. I am thinking of releasing some videos very soon. Unfortunately, haven't been able to do that yet. So forgive me if you have been waiting for a video from me. That said, the one which I'm going to release soon, a remake, I think you will like. And I think you're familiar with it, but in case you aren't, I made a stream about it very recently. Yes, indeed. So that should be shown soon. Let me see. I think you're familiar with it, but in case you aren't, I made a stream about it very nice. Works. My audio works. And then YouTube one. Let's go to the YouTube one. We have one viewer in there. Yay! Hello, how are you doing? Hello. We're still early in the whole stream. I'm getting things set up. Yay! Hello, how are you? So how this is going to go? Basically, what I'm going to do in this very stream is that I'm going to discuss about a game series I have really liked. I have really enjoyed. And 14 years I've waited for the sequel for it. Is it 14 years? I think something close to that. And I'm going to tell you things about it. Some things you might not perhaps enjoy. And might be understood because some people really fanatically love this game. And some people really follow Kingdom Hearts lore and all those things. And while I really appreciate that you take time to follow such a game series in such passion, I have very many problems with it. Actually, I'm actually very disappointed with it in many ways, and I'm going to go into these reasons. I'm not just going to bash the game because I don't like it. I'm going to go step by step, and I would love for you to give your input to it in terms of commenting to it, and then we can perhaps I can change my opinion in case that is changeable, which I don't think is, but I'm open-minded. I am. I'm going to discuss about its music. I'm going to discuss about its convoluted story. I'm going to discuss about its visual looks, which are great, by the way. And I'm going to discuss about the gameplay, which I partly really enjoy. So, soon we're going to delve into that. I always make this kind of a intro dialogue for people who watch this afterwards. For the last stream which I made, many people actually watched it afterwards, so that was surprising for me. Yes, indeed. Usually these only get like few views. That's how the whole world works. We have 2 viewers in Twitch. Hello. How are you doing? Welcome to Twitch. Yes, indeed. I really want to make content for Twitch people as well. And that's why we are doing it here and now. Oh, we have also 1 viewer in YouTube side. Hello. Let me try to share this in world of Facebook and Twitter. Indeed, because sometimes you just have to try to spread your stream to other places. And as I've said, Facebook and Twitter don't like when you share links to them, but who are going to find these kind of streams if I'm not sharing them? That's the problem everyone has. So that's what I'm sharing this all away. We have 3 viewers in Twitch. That is very nice. Let me know how is your day going. Let me know. My day is going absolutely really nicely. Just been working few days and now getting back to streaming. in terms of working, I've been in full-time work, and now back to the whole YouTube side of things. Yes, indeed. Oh, Facebook, you are a slow one. Do you know that? Oh, here we go. I also try to improve the setting a little bit, the video settings and video setup. Not sure, are you a big fan of, this kind of look? Perhaps lighting is a bit better. I'm not sure of your thoughts on it, but still, that is what I'm doing. Trying to improve this little by little. But yes, I was very not sure how people are going to respond to what I have to say. When I look at discussion going online about many variety of topics, it usually becomes this kind of shouting contest. And I myself, I do not enjoy much of shouting contest for the fact of that the true kind of meaning of discussion goes away. As the discussion in the end is about trying to get people to share their opinions, share their points of view, and perhaps change their discourse. Indeed, that is what a discussion should be about. Of course, it can become very nasty sometimes, knowing the internet. And I think I have wanted to share my opinion on Kingdom Hearts for the longest of time. But as I'm not this gameplay YouTube channel, I think a stream is a good way to share my opinions on it overall. And if I use the magic of live editing, I might actually make a video about it. Yes, I will be taking the comment section away from there, and the stream signs and all, and I might actually make a video about it. Yes, indeed. Just depends, do I edit it or not? I think we're very close to finishing the beginning stage, and we're going to move towards the actual video side of things. You can still comment and it's visible, but after a few minutes when we start, it's going to become the comments are going to disappear for a moment, and also other things. So after that, we're going to have this long discussion. I'm going to discuss about my thoughts on it, and then afterwards we can have a discussion of why you think my point is very, very wrong or very, very good. Who knows? Let me know. That's how the thing is going to work. I think in a few seconds we're going to start. Let's see how the YouTube side goes. Twitch is 2 and YouTube is 2. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I think we're ready to start, ladies and gentlemen. So let me remove the comment section over here. Here we go. There it went. And the sign over here as well, so I can record a full video. So, my thoughts on Kingdom Hearts. Let's begin. Kingdom Hearts. Once such a nice game. Oh, goddamn. The beginning is very important. I need to get it right. I have these few words in my mind for that. Kingdom Hearts. Once a very special game series has turned into this convoluted mess, kinda. Beautiful mess. Hello there, my name is eluukkanen, aka Eluukkanen, and I'm a composer from Finland. I do mainly music content. However, sometimes when I have the time and when I have the passion, I will put some effort and share my opinions on things I like, such as games, films, and other things. And I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is a very special occasion to be sharing opinions about, because it has been like 14 years into making. I think it has. And it has very special place for me, because when I was young, I remember fondly playing Kingdom Hearts 1 with PlayStation 2, with its original charm, with a mix of Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters. I am a big fan of some Final Fantasy games, not necessarily because of their story, but always in those games there's a grand scale. Visually they look pleasing, and sometimes there can be some interesting stuff down there. Some good Disney films, however, are very memorable, have interesting characters, and sometimes stories can even surprise you. That's why I think this kind of alliance is very good in terms of making a special game. And Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, I believe, were kind of special ones. That was, of course, before the fact that the whole plot turned into this kind of mess. I'm going to discuss about Kingdom Hearts honestly with you today here. I'm not going to beat around bushes. I'm going to directly tell you my opinion on it. I'm going to go part by part why I think sometimes it succeeds and sometimes not very much. I'm going to discuss about why I'm disappointed with it, and I feel how it should perhaps be fixed and made even better. Because I know many people follow Kingdom Hearts very passionately, and in a very pure emotion kind of way, I have this big disappointment on it, I have to admit. But it is not very productive of me just saying, oh, I hate it, I don't like it, and that sort of thing. I think people who are even fans of that series are not going to enjoy that sort of discussion from me just saying, oh, I hate it. That's why I'm going to focus on why I feel part by part it does not go in its full quality as it should be. Because I tell you, I'm a big fan of the concept. The concept is a miraculous one. Miraculous. Goddamn, I the word went wrong. I will edit this afterwards, but I will, what's the word? It's a very precious one, and I think it deserves a bit more in terms of story and other things. We're going to go into those in this very video. Kingdom Hearts 1, some people perhaps have started their Kingdom Hearts journey with Kingdom Hearts 2 and with other games, and I can understand why you might not like Kingdom Hearts 1 because of this very reason. I've even discussed with some Kingdom Hearts fans that say that Kingdom Hearts 1 is bad, and every time I ask what was the first Kingdom Hearts game, it was the second one or other ones. And I cannot blame you. The first Kingdom Hearts game, the first one, it had problems, such as the controls were kind of clanky. It was not just really fun to fight in it in some times. I really liked some of the enemy designs and how they interacted with you. The commands were a bit simpler, but overall combat has improved when going into future games, I must admit. But I have to tell you, it's still my number one game of the series. Because the story, while being simple, it was enjoyable. The main character actually developed during the story, which is very weird looking at future Kingdom Hearts games, and I'm going to discuss why that actually happened, on my opinion, why the Kingdom Hearts story has kind of went into this fan fiction kind of writing. And it's very sad, because many times when you have franchises coming together, creating something cool, like mixing up different characters from different stories to different stories, usually that does not happen. That only happens in fanfiction.net kind of writings, where you have Lord of the Rings characters and My Little Pony characters coming together. Yes, I've seen that. I've never read that, but I saw somebody actually making that kind of writing. The thing is, Kingdom Hearts, is actually a possibility that was made because of this kind of event when Square Enix and Disney met up in the same building they worked at one point. Usually this does not happen because the ones who control IPs and copyright of characters, they want to keep those characters on themselves, and it's hard to get two different sides agree what is made for this kind of collaboration project. But Kingdom Hearts, it actually happened. And I think it deserves much more than just fanfiction writing. The first game, the Kingdom Hearts 1, was simple. You went from world to another. You had this kind of level design where you could have, fall down, you could swim. The levels were not just a fighting arena. Levels were also this sort of levels from like platformer games, as initially Kingdom Hearts was designed to compete with likes of Mario and other games. You can look that up. Actually, Kingdom Hearts was trying to mimic this kind of level jumping and other things found in Mario games and other platformer games. That's why you could see some people saw this as kind of, not very fun. I have to admit, sometimes it was nasty to just drop from the top of a Hollow Bastion to the very bottom. But I tell you, this kind of level designs gives much more interesting kind of encounters for combat. Even when the combat is flashier and perhaps, more, it feels more right in the future games because, it's given. They are future games, they had time to develop those systems. But you could have this kind of combat encounters where you have flying enemies and you don't want to fall down and you have to avoid getting hits, even few hits from these flying enemies, because they can just drop you down from the elevator or some other these kind of encounters. And you can, in a sense, see those perhaps in Kingdom Hearts 3. You had this wall running like from anime, just running up from the wall, and those other things. You could climbing trees, but there was not like. Does it really make the level design good? Because when you have just all areas you can explore, like running running up and just jumping everywhere, and there's no limitations. I have to argue I am not big fan of those kind of level designs because it makes the world this kind of battle arena more or else. When I looked at the worlds like Tangled and Frozen and other worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3, it was a battle encounter from another battle encounter to another. And I think, for me at least, I'm a big fan of exploration. This kind of hurt my overall feel of the gameplay. Other than that, the game looks really great. Kingdom Hearts 3, the visually, it is absolutely great. Just looking at the beginning scene, looking at everything the game throws at you, you could even believe you were in those Disney films where you were in Disney worlds. I was very surprised how film-like Toy Story World characters and even Tangled characters, they looked really great. But the most surprising part was the Pirates of the Caribbean. The human characters, oh man. Even though, some may say, oh, those are not that impressive, but I tell you, in Kingdom Hearts standards, it has gone very, very high. And some of the scenes, some of the cinematics, very memorable. I remember very, very vividly from Kingdom Hearts 3 experience, the opening scene when you have this city of windmills, and visually very Studio Ghibli-like, which I like. So visually, I have nothing against this title. But story. I already talked about how I'm not a big fan of the story because I feel it's convoluted. many people who like Kingdom Hearts say, okay, the first game was already kind of convoluted. You have the darkness and light and the very simple concept, but I think the simplicity worked with this in the beginning. Because the whole game was this kind of a fairy tale, going in worlds, meeting new characters and overcoming simple, yet children-oriented life goals, like, you know, friends are my power and those other things, you know, not bad, not bad. Then you could say that the Disney worlds you encountered in the first game, I have to repeat that. The Disney worlds you encountered in the first game, well, they were a bit irrelevant in a sense, you could say, but it has not developed even in future games, which I'm very disappointed about. More or less, future games gave more space for these anime type of characters. For Organization 13, just anime characters with different hairstyles, which I don't find any interesting characters, original characters from Kingdom Hearts 3, because they feel plastic, they feel very much just underplayed, and they are not, from the basis of them, not very fascinating in themselves. They're just, one is like a evil professor, one is like this, I say darkness, darkness, darkness many times, you know, just looking at, comparing them from Disney characters to original Kingdom Hearts characters, so plastic. The Kingdom Hearts characters, they just cannot beat the Disney ones because they steal the show. You could actually see that Disney characters, in terms of design and character, much more enjoyable, I have to tell you, because they have used time to develop them. The Kingdom Hearts, the story, when it could have been good, it could have been very impressive, in fact. I think from Kingdom Hearts 2 it started going downhill, and I've seen this sentiment being shared in internet as well by others who have reviewed Kingdom Hearts. The reason for me is that this just starts to seem more like fan fiction characters trying to took over the Disney ones. And I'm going to explain it in this way. For Kingdom Hearts 1, Disney characters were actually in major roles. They tried to take over the world with their evil club or something. But in the second games, in the third game, nothing close to that. The Kingdom Hearts characters, which were not that interesting, at least for me, they stole the show. And not because they were more interesting or they had more story interest in from... God damn. My words are getting mixed. So, the Kingdom Hearts characters, they are not that interesting for me, due to the fact that while Nomura, who is the lead writer, gives them a lot of power, gives them a lot of like, oh, he can do that, oh, he can defeat Maleficent with one blow, oh, and that's kind of powers which are like, if you watched Dragon Ball, you could see like the power levels just going up and up and up and up. I think that does not make the characters more interesting to me. If you have these like very stylish Disney characters who have death on the next to Kingdom Hearts original characters like Organization, even if you make that the Organization character is much more powerful in terms of story, I think that does not make the characters more interesting. Because what makes a character interesting makes the fact that how his character is actually believable, how the story they are part of is not just convoluted. Because many of these original characters made by Nomura, they have this kind of plot armor protecting them. and making them more relevant than they are. They do not, I feel, they do not deserve the spotlight they are getting. And the reason they are getting the spotlight is that they are the precious creations of Mr. Nomura, who is making the game. And in a sense, I feel trying to hijack, and I think successfully has hijacked the project, being about this anime plot, about, 7 lights against 13 darkness, and, guess what characters those are? Guess what characters those are? Organization characters against, original Kingdom Hearts 3 characters and 2 characters. And, it's... If I would have been in leadership position about Kingdom Hearts, what I would have done would have been simple. I would have used the large library of characters in the story. I would have used them interacting with each other, having perhaps Organization 13 in the second game not to be original characters made by Nomura, but instead being collection of Final Fantasy villains under the hoods. Imagine seeing Kefka and others being the evil villains of that very organization. I think would have been much more fruitful. You could have connected those plots with Disney plots. As example, one of the greatest disappointments in the Kingdom Hearts series is, I feel, for the Hunchback of Notre Dame world. You have this very, very good film, very dark film, surprisingly a dark Disney film, about these, people who live in Paris. And, you can just watch if you are not familiar with that film. But basically, there's one of the most interesting Disney villains over them all in that world. And that is Cloud Frollo. And they misused him so much. I would have given those kind of interesting characters much bigger scale. Imagine like the Hollow Bastion world, which turned into Radiant Garden as the main heroes tried to rebuild it. Perhaps the cathedral that was once or the great castle or whatever in the center. That perhaps Frollo would be one of the citizens of that whole place and trying to hijack the rule of that town to himself. One of the plots perhaps, and you have one of the citizens of Radiant Garden to be Merlin. Merlin from the medieval times, of course, from one of the Disney films where he tried to get King Arthur, the young King Arthur, to be a good king and that sort of thing. Why are not they using these kind of plot points in their own worlds, trying to interact with each other and make something really interesting happen? Of course, I cannot detail what kind of ideas I and others have said about these kind of things, because, that would just take too long. But man, I tell you, I'm very, very disappointed in terms of storytelling, because now it has turned into an anime plot of, in between, not relevant at all. Like, if this would be an anime of its own kind, without Disney characters and Square Enix characters, I wouldn't care. Because, of course, some people might like that. And I would argue it would not be that popular if that would be the case, because even in the Kingdom Hearts game's back cover, they say, meet your Disney characters. They don't say, like, meet your Organization 13 for the second time and fight them again, and they are not actually going to die, and they're just going to be... I'm very frustrated on the plot part, because I am very big fan of plots in video games. I think they can be very interesting, instead of being this low-grade, just fan-fiction writing that Nomura has done for the series, unfortunately. And I can actually see where it went downhill, because in the first Kingdom Hearts game, I think Nomura was not a story guy, at least fully. I might be wrong, but I think he was not fully responsible of the plot and other things in Kingdom Hearts 1. Only at Kingdom Hearts 2 he gained this leading role. So, the plot, the graphics, the gameplay systems. But the most disappointing thing for me is the music. What has happened to Kingdom Hearts music? Of course, Yoko Shimomura, the composer behind Kingdom Hearts 3, I think she is still involved. But man, I have had hard time trying to remember these melodies even one bit. They reuse so much old stuff. I couldn't believe it. I tried to look at Kingdom Hearts soundtrack. I tried to look some distinctive melodies which you could just capture on your palm of your hand and say, I like that. Instead, there are these orchestral mumble jumbos, and even the ones they are trying to make, with these big choirs and stuff like that, not very interesting. I feel that they had 14 years to make this game, or more, or less. No, over 10 years, or even if we think like that, it's still a long time. And why didn't Shimomura have time to make some really catchy tunes? Granted, of course, there are some world tunes here and there, but they are based, more or less, either on old tunes or the tunes from those Disney films. I'm a big fan of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 soundtrack because they actually, Yoko Shimomura, used time to kind of revisualize the whole musicscape of these distinctive worlds. In Kingdom Hearts 1, they have one of my favorite tunes, Traverse Town, Hollow Bastion, and in the second game there were tunes from the Beast Castle, and even in Mulan level, very, very nice tunes. I still listen them today sometimes when I want to get back into the old feel of Kingdom Hearts. But in the newer games, while the orchestral quality is there, not many new ideas. Like, it's weird. If it would be just graphics, the gameplay system and the music, I would tolerate it even much more. But I can't say I'm a big fan because there are just no tunes to grasp into, other than old ones which are just made again. It's very nasty. The biggest thing in terms of music was the beginning cinematic, the opening cinematic. I don't know, do you know Simple and Clean? And the other one for Kingdom Hearts 2, the beginning songs. But I really, really enjoyed them. Not because, of course they were flashy visuals aside with the great music. But what I am as a composer, when I look at compositions, the compositions have it's like a working machine. At the first part of the Simple and Clean, this is like an opening thing. It's like it builds up, then the singing starts, then there comes like the B part, which is like a very first it's like a very hopeful one, then it goes kind of like a unsure one, then it has the hopeful part. It is very well constructed song, even if it's a style I generally do not listen music in. That is very, very nice piece. Even the second one, it has this kind of a structure which has some thought put into it. But the third opening song for Kingdom Hearts 3, it's like some kind of a Skrillex and the singer who was part of the first two ones. This kind of like a collaboration. It's just like any kind of techno pop song you could imagine. It's not even connected that well to the opening cinematic. The first opening cinematic and even the second one, they were these melody beats which started to play in certain parts of that very opening. And it's nasty to see that just they didn't put that much effort into the third opening of Kingdom Hearts. It's very nasty. And they might have had Skrillex join the party. Of course, he's much followed. Not a big fan of his music myself. And they had hard time. They have hard time to get the original singer back to the project after Kingdom Hearts 2. So that's why maybe the singer didn't want to make her original song, and instead they had Skrillex come and join. Yeah, it's very individual kind of perspective you can have on music tastes, but I just have to say, when you look at how the songs are constructed, the first Kingdom Hearts and the second one, they had this kind of structure that was not just, you know, and repeating that like every pop song does. Like, you have one thing that catches your mind, the earworm, and that sort of structure. No, they are much more complex and more interesting. That said, you know, I've been bashing now quite a long time why I don't like Kingdom Hearts 3. That said, whatever I think about it, it's going to still have spin-offs and other games made about it. I personally don't want anything bad about, you know, just like, I don't want Kingdom Hearts series to end, but I hoped they had this kind of realization that people are not into the Kingdom Hearts original character, organization character plot lines. But the only way they could have that is to just lose in sales. And looking at the sale numbers, it has sold quite a lot. Much more than original first one and the second one ever did in the first weeks. So we're going to still see the convoluted plots. We're going to still see the beautiful mess of Kingdom Hearts in future. And I'm partly happy about that, but when I look at these games, when I look how they go forward, I can't help but to be sad how they go forward. How the quality that once was goes down heavily. So that was my opinion of Kingdom Hearts 3. Some of you might not like this, and you know, of course, leave a downvote or a upvote, depending did you like my opinion. I am very much a person who appreciates open discussion, even if it's against, you know, my kind of principles or my kind of thoughts and beliefs. So, in case you found my views very much against you, or something that you don't agree upon, let me know. Also, if you like this video, let me know as well and share with your friends. I think this kind of opinion of Kingdom Hearts is hard to find, because most of the people who like the series, well, it's let's just say it's people get very attached to the world and the gameplay, and that's why it is very hard to get your opinion out there. That's at least what I've found out. However, we're going to make more videos like these about other franchises, music, and other things. I've also made some remastered music for classic old games like Spyro and Digimon and other ones. Go and check those out. Thanks for watching, wherever you are, whoever you are. I wish you a great day. See you later. Okay, that was it. That was it. I don't even know how many people watch, because I was just trying to connect to the to how this thing went. Let me actually open the comment section if we have even a single comment there. Yes, indeed. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. We're going to now have a discussion session about the very video when I just am able to open the whole chat window. It's very slow, unfortunately, so we have to wait a little bit. I just have to tell... I've had a hard time trying to share my opinions in any kind of thing. Of course, I am not an opinion channel. I'm a music channel. I try to make good music, and that's my focus. And all other people could say, Elias, just focus on the music making. Don't make videos like this. But, you know, I'm a thinking individual, and I have... Like, it's not the black and white kind of a mindset I have for Kingdom Hearts. Not even close. I try to look at in very many different kind of ways. And hopefully some ways you appreciate. Oh, did we have an error? Oh, I think we have some errors. I try to open the Twitch, it's just not opening. Weird. I see some comments in by Mini Craculus Magical. I think it just has to do with if you like complex stories on. It's not a complex story. It's a ridiculous story. In a complex story, you have many different interesting factors, I think, connected to it. But just like looking at this, like if you think it's complex, I must say it's complex. It's less about complex and more like convoluted. It has many things, many factors. I agree. It has like a lot of like lore and all these things, but they are not that very well connected to each other. I think that's the problem I have. Like, I am big fan of great stories, like which make very big effort going in very deep backgrounds. Like, let's say, Lord of the Rings is one example. Just is on my mind. Let me try to open the comment section to show you it in the video. For some reason, it's not opening. Very slow process. But yes, like. Well, it depends. It depends. The thing is, it depends how people like it. I have a big. I think I want to believe I have a great standards when it comes to. Am I late? One or two people in YouTube. There, I think, was some kind of like a problem. I think there was some kind of like problem in the stream. I think it was cut out. Unfortunately, I think you might be a little late, but we have like a afterwards discussion at the moment about the whole thing. Indeed, we had one guy from Twitch coming and connecting and saying that you know, he's right. He agrees with the Skrillex thing, and while I very much like the original tunes.
Well, the Roxas Ventus part is an idea I liked very much.
Roxas Ventus part. Could you explain that bit for me? Because I have to tell you, my background with this series also comes from the fact that, I didn't want to really put some time into this kind of, you know, just... How do I explain it? Well, the Roxas Ventus part, him being like a very pure kind of individual, him being like very evil kind of individual, it was just weird, because how I see the whole plot in that game, where Ventus and other ones were the Aqua and the Terra, they were introduced. I think it was this kind of Star Wars clone game in a sense. Like, the Nomura is the leading writer behind the Kingdom Hearts, and he decides whatever happens, right? I think he has very big... he really enjoys Star Wars because he really wanted to make this kind of prequel...
That's Ventus and Vanitas.
Ah, Ventus and Vanitas. Ah, yeah. Not big fan of that. Now, the Roxas part, I'm going to get into that, but just the... One thing I've not seen people to discuss about is that the game, when there was...
I mean, why Roxas looks like Ventus.
Well... of course, that might be well explained. I might not be well happy about that. I can understand, what they found a reason to have, people having different hearts and connected to each other and blah, 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 blah. That just doesn't interest me myself, but I can see why people get excited about Kingdom Hearts lore overall. But what I don't understand is people don't see that what was the game, Dream Drop Distance or somewhere, where they were this when they introduce Mark of Mastery exam, this kind of Jedi school for Kingdom Hearts Keyblade wielders. It's weird because then they introduce this kind of villain character who very much is like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. They wear these, in Star Wars very, very much there is a good and evil side when you look at the original films. I think Nomura really wanted to make Kingdom Hearts more Star Wars, kinda. More like it. And other people might be happy about it, but it's kind of very weird how they changed the course of the whole game, because when you look at the concept of the Keyblade, as example, the main staple of the series, you have many Keyblades swinging around. At the moment at least. But originally they talked about just one Keyblade. The Sora, the one who chose Sora, this kind of one Keyblade. And I thought that the original plot writer wanted to make that tool was only for them. But nowadays you have a Keyblade for everybody. Keyblade for, who's that red-haired organization character again? They gave even him a Keyblade. It's kind of a weird thing, isn't it? I have saw this one video from a very big channel I watch, Resonant Arc. If you are familiar with their content, they basically talk about Final Fantasy game, RPG games, and even Kingdom Hearts. They once discussed about how they liked Sora, Roxas, and these other characters. After that, when I saw this video, I could understand why people like character like Roxas, because for me, it's very empty character. I know it's the part of his character to be this oh, I have no emotions because I was made emotionless and that sort of thing. I can understand that, but just doesn't the character is not something I find even in if you look at emotionless characters.
Axel
I was not
has a Keyblade because he got in touch with Vetus.
Yeah, I know he got that from his friend Ventus. Still, I could not say that, let me tell you this. What do you think about everybody having a Keyblade? What do you think about characters just gaining Keyblades out of kind of nowhere? Of course, Nomura can write this kind of explanation. Of course, he touched Ventus, he got his Keyblade. And the fact that all the characters you have already beaten in the past games, like the old organization and the new organization, I just see that kind of writing to put old villains you already defeated to the new game. And I think I wouldn't care that much if it would be just having those characters to be alone there, but there's just so many Disney characters, the series, they do not touch upon. They are not interested about that. They are not interested about using Disney characters in that big story. And Roxas and Ventus, they can be mildly interesting, but just it's like wasting. It's like having a friend just pour down, you're on the desert with him. He just pours down all the drinking water.
I don't like Karai having a Keyblade, but it still makes sense she has one.
Well, you can make things the point I'm arguing. Of course, in the terms of story, things can make sense for the whole game. But the thing is, story creator can make anything happen. Of course, he has to look at past things and base his evaluation of making things upon that. So Nomura let's say he could have done anything with the plot. He could have had organization to be, Final Fantasy characters, or he could have that Disney villains would have much more involvement. Like, he could have done that. Of course, original characters, why not? But my whole argument is based upon that the original characters Nomura is so fond of are stealing the show. They are, like, if you go to Pirates of the Caribbean world in the Kingdom Hearts 3, the Marluke, not the Marluke, who's the gambler guy? Gambler organization character. He steals the show from other characters, and I think that's nasty.
It's more like they are not allowed to do with Disney characters what they want.
That might be a good explanation, my friend. That actually might be an explanation I might agree with. But that just doesn't explain it too much, because even in the first game they were able to use the villains in a bit more interesting way. And of course, you and I, we are not able to see what kind of background discussion Disney and Square Enix have. We are just simply, we cannot do that. But I would argue they could still have done a bit more, and an explanation for that could be seen in the games where they did more with the games. And I think just going future, they have done less. Like in the first game, they had this kind of restriction that they could not use Mickey Mouse in any concept other than just having him being the shady character in the ending scene, right? Because that was the restriction. I can understand that. That's Disney did not still believe fully to the project, though they didn't want to risk having their main staple of the whole franchise to be used. Later on, they gained access to use him again. I can see those, perhaps that kind of thing
the
could be.
gambling dude annoys me in KH3 because his role was played in Chain of Memory.
Indeed! The gambler guy, who's his name? Like, something to do with Z's and X's. I don't know, there's just so many different characters to remember their names. Well, that's the gambler character, yeah. I think, didn't he die in Kingdom Hearts 1? Like, the thing is, I know the Sehanort, the Emperor Palpatine in the Kingdom Hearts, he resurrected those guys. But, like, did that do anything good? Of course, you had these big, great battles in the end of the game. I really like the battles of the end of the game scenes, but not a big fan of how they were represented and how, like, because if you have a character, let's say this character, number 1 and number 2, if number 1 dies, like, could he just have been resurrected at any time? Like, does that just take the meaning of the original character away? Because I thought, as you say, his role was played already. I don't want to get too heated or, to think too much about Kingdom Hearts, because I'm a bit disappointed for the reasons I already said to you. I am disappointed, I have to admit. But there are going to be more Kingdom Hearts games, and I can understand why people love this game, and please do that. I wish only that they could go to more complex routes, because I know they could. I might actually do some content on what could have been perhaps done with Kingdom Hearts 2 or 3 plot, who knows, just as this kind of experiment. But I'm not promising anything, but that's what I'm thinking to do, perhaps. Anyways, I think this is the end of the stream. I hope you enjoyed watching me banter about Kingdom Hearts, discussing why I didn't that much enjoy, or I did enjoy some parts about it though. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to do more streams like this to discuss about games, music and other things. If you enjoy, please press the follow button. We're going to meet each other again, and we're going to discuss about things, perhaps about Kingdom Hearts even, in the future. So, let's do that. Let's say that wherever you are, I wish you a great day. See you later.